Welcome to Comfort Zone, a podcast all about pushing your hosts, well, outside of their comfort zone. I'm Christopher Lawley, and every week I am joined by two incredible co-hosts. First up, Matt Birchler. Matt, how are you doing?
Chris, I am feeling unprecedented this week.
Ooh. Yeah, because nothing's going on this week. That's
expressed with no context needed.
Yep. Nope. Moving right along, and we're also joined by Niléane. Niléane, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, and welcome to the club, guys.
No idea what you all are talking about. Just got back from vacation. Clearly, I was on vacation. Nothing happened. Moving right along. I can't talk about this. Niléane, you're first up in our document.
Am I?
Yeah, you are. You're going first.
All right. There will be a theme throughout my interventions today.
Okay.
That theme is I'm going to be giving out my first impressions on products that have been out for a while.
I love it.
And I'm late to the game, and that's it. That's the game. I picked up last week a pair of AirPods Max.
Ooh.
That's it. Although there's a twist, I didn't buy them.
Oh, okay.
A very nice soul that maybe listens to the show donated them to me.
Nice.
And that person has had them for a few months, so they're still pretty new. And they were like, they were feeling like donating them. So yeah, I stepped up, give it to me.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's the best way to get them.
Nice. Yeah, because I was going to say, I'm like, aren't we expecting new ones like at any minute now? Like, or sometime this year? Like, yeah. So I was going to be like, wow, that's a gamble right there. But
yeah,
how are you liking them?
So I like them. They're really good. I would have never bought them, like, ever. And I'm a fan of Bluetooth headphones. I've had a bunch of them. I'm a big fan of the Sony line, the WH-1000XM-X 3, 4, 5. My latest ones are the XM5s. They're really good. They're really comfy and really lightweight. So yeah, but the AirPods Max are really nice. I think my first impressions with them is that they are really heavy when you first pick them up.
Mm-hmm.
But they feel less annoying on my head than the Sonys for some reason. So that's probably a testament to how they're built. Yeah, but I have a question for you guys.
Yes.
Yes, what is the deal with the smart case?
It's so unbelievably bad. I don't even know. So for those that are watching the video, I am wearing AirPods Max right now. Woo!
Yeah.
These are my only over-the-ear headphones. I have lots of mixed feelings on them. But the smart case, I don't even know where mine is. Legitimately, don't know where it is. I don't use it. I don't put my AirPods Max in them. I have like a little headphone holder thing that sits on my desk that I just set these on when I'm done with them. I don't even mess with that. I do have the smart case from Waterfield, or not the smart case, but the AirPods Max case from Waterfield, which has the magnet in them to put them in the standby mode. It's really nice. They sent it to me. I didn't buy it, so disclosure. They're legitimately Waterfield, SF Bags, whatever you want to call them, one of the best companies ever to work with. Like, I got a bag of theirs for Christmas, and they saw I did a review on it, and this was like before I even had 10,000 subscribers, maybe even before I had 5,000 subscribers. Nobody watched my stuff, and they reached out to me, and like they like sent me stuff and like supported me. Great company to work with. Anyways, I have that one. When I have traveled with these in the past, I use that bag. But these are really annoying to travel with because they don't fold up.
Yeah. Although the Sonys that I'm coming from, they don't fold up either.
Yeah,
so.
It's a new trend in these like $300 to $500 noise canceling headphones. They don't
I had the old Sony ones, the old style ones before the AirPods Max, the
Hmm.
ones everyone got that were the big over-the-ear noise canceling ones, and those did fold up if I remember right. Like
They
I think
did.
they were the
Yeah,
ones that ended in 3.
Yeah, the threes did, and then the four
and the 4 as well. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Matt, do you have them?
I do. So I'm in the same boat as you. I'm wearing the Sonys right now, the XM5s.
Okay.
I love them. These are kind of my go-to noise canceling headphones, or over-the-ear headphones. And I use them for this podcast because they have a nice line in that works for me. But I do agree with you on the AirPods Max feeling more comfortable, even though they're heavier, like noticeably heavier. And I think it's because of the head strap. The head strap on the AirPods Max is so wide that it, I think, distributes the weight better. So I do find those a little bit more comfortable than the Sonys. The Sonys have a really thin kind of headband thing, and it does, if you don't wear it right or adjust it, it does kind of dig into your head a little bit more than you'd expect.
Yep. But apart from that, my audio impressions is that they're really good. I'm really impressed. With one caveat, spatial audio is I don't know what word to use. It's why is it
Oh
there?
my. Okay. All right.
And why is it on by default everywhere?
Okay. I can solve this for you.
Okay.
You're
Go ahead.
going to after the show's over, you're going to open up Apple Music and you are going to search Pink Floyd, The Dark Side of the Moon. And they did a remastered version of one of the greatest albums of all time in spatial audio, and you will understand spatial audio after that. I was not.
Okay.
Just trust me on this one. It is your homework for the week. Just everyone, if you're on the fence about spatial audio or don't like it, go back and re-enable it and go on in Apple Music, Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon, the remastered version. We'll put a link in the show notes. But I have heard that album 100 times before the remastered come out. No joke. Like, listen, I love that album. There are things with the spatial audio version that you hear that I've never heard before. One thing I just absolutely adore that album. It's amazing. I am a spatial audio believer now. Apple invited me over a year ago, probably about a year ago, something like that, to a little thing. Like, it really wasn't much, but it was this thing in San Francisco where they partnered with Mercedes-Benz on their next car, and they actually brought spatial audio to the car, and it just sounds amazing. Because in the car, they had a crap ton of speakers in there, so you had true spatial audio. With AirPods, they're kind of having to fake it with delay and pan in order to to get you proper space, because there's only 2 speakers in AirPods. Like, no matter what AirPods you're wearing, Pro, Max, whatever, there's only 2 speakers, a left and a right. So they're having to fake it with pan and delay. But with like a proper spatial audio setup, it sounds amazing. But even still, big spatial audio believer now.
There was an issue when they started rolling it out where like music studios were cranking out a ton of low quality, just as fast as you can, spatial mixes
to get the badge.
Yeah, so which sounded horrendous, and for me too. I turned it off because I hated it. I thought basically everything I listened to sounded worse. A few exceptions, but yeah, it's definitely better now, and I do have it turned on. I don't like the head tracking, but anyway, we don't need to get into the spatial audio too far.
Oh yeah, no, I turn off the head tracking.
Especially when I'm going like on a walk, like when I'm walking the dog and I like turn a corner and then the music kind of like shifts around. I don't like it.
100% turn off the head tracking. Head tracking is horrible. I can't stand it. But
all right, for normal people who don't listen, who listen to anything else but the Pink Floyd, I think it's bad, guys. I'm sorry. It sounds echoey. Earlier today, I was watching something on the TV, and of course, it was on by default because Apple wants it on by default everywhere, and we got to manually turn it off everywhere. And TV shows just sound worse.
You are describing a very weird thing, because there's the spatial audio where like it's doing like the 3D audio around you, And then there's the
Yeah.
spatial audio where it's like when you're like playing a video on your phone, it makes the audio sound like it's coming from your phone in front of you,
Yeah.
which
But
that I
that's not
don't
it, though.
understand, and I don't like that either. I agree
Well,
with
and
that.
then on top of that, well, I guess the AirPods Max don't support it, but the AirPods Pro have Dolby Atmos, which I think actually helps quite a bit because Dolby Atmos, like everything is mixed for Dolby Atmos now. Not a ton of I'm guessing outside of Apple TV Plus stuff, nothing is mixed for spatial audio.
All right. Anyway, I'm right. Yeah.
I do have a question for you about your AirPods Max. Did you
Yep.
buy the world's most thinnest and expensive cable? The Lightning to 3.5 millimeter no latency cable?
I did order it. They're not yet there yet, but I
Okay.
did order them. Yeah.
I have one right here plugged in for recording this podcast, and it legitimately does help.
All right. All right. One last thing is the controls, the buttons. Coming from the Sonys again, which have touch controls on the right cup, I think, on the right ear cup. They're awful. I always disable them. So I'm so used to just not being able to control my music without pulling out my phone. Yeah, I never use the touch controls on those. They are horrible, especially if you have long hair like me. For some reason, my hair triggers it.
Ooh, that's a deal breaker.
I don't know what to say. My hair skips the music for me. That may sound magical, but it's awful. So yeah, the buttons on the AirPods Max are a really good surprise. The crown, especially, I think feels really good. Although it's a bit too sensitive, but I think it feels really good. And yeah, but that's it. The person that donated the headset to me donated them with the best colorway, the pink reddish ones.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I think that's good. What else can I say? I mean, apart from what is the deal with the smart case, I have no idea. I'm thinking of picking up one of those stands that have the magnets in them to put them to sleep on my desk.
If you aren't planning on traveling with these, that's probably the best thing to do with them because then you don't have to mess with the smart case. You have a place to store them at your desk. Totally 100% get that. Like I don't like I said, I don't even know where my smart case is.
I think I'll stick with the Sonys for traveling anyway.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
if you know how to sew magnets, you could probably get those into a t-shirt.
Oh,
And
Oh my god, I wanted to make that joke and I forgot.
There's an opportunity for the cheapest, worst looking.
Okay,
most
let's roll back.
practical
Hey
carry
guys, I found a way to store my AirPods Max.
Video is off for while we record, but I can only imagine Chris is seething right now.
Yeah.
I have my head in my hand right now. I quit. I quit.
Yeah.
Honestly, actually, these things are pretty durable.
I was going to say, they are actually very durable.
Like the few times I have traveled with these, I just throw them in my backpack. Like I've used the water-filled case, but like if I'm just going to like a coffee shop or something, I just throw them in my backpack. Niléane, what do you think about like the noise canceling and transparency mode of these versus like regular AirPods or even the Sonys?
So compared to I have the second generation AirPods Pro.
Okay.
Compared to the AirPods Pro, they're a lot better, I think, in terms of noise cancelling. Transparency mode, I think it's about the same thing. Compared to the Sonys, though, I feel there's a big jump with the noise cancellation compared to the Sonys. It's a lot quieter in general, and I think it's able to cancel out a wider range of frequencies. I'm not sure. I've not gone out for longer than an hour with the AirPods Max. I will have to try them out on the train and see how that goes. But yeah, compared to the AirPods Pro, it's a big jump. Transparency is the same. Compared to Sony's, it's a big jump as well.
Nice. Yeah, I definitely like the noise canceling of the AirPods Max the best. Like when I really need to focus and if I have anything distracting going on around me, like construction or gardeners or dogs or whatever, like if there's something really like AirPods Max are my go-to. I think the thing that finds me the thing that I'm the most frustrated about is it's one of only 3 devices I have left that are still on Lightning. And literally if Apple came out
Yeah.
tomorrow with a new version of AirPods Max and the only thing different was USB-C, I would buy those because it would make my life so much better. The only other 2 devices I have left are the Magic Keyboard and the Magic Trackpad that I use for Vision Pro. That drives me nuts. We'll talk about that a little later. But yeah, I'm just like, why do these still have Lightning?
Once again, I am a few years late because I still have the 14 Pro. So I
Okay.
still have a Lightning cable with me at all times. And actually, to me, it feels better to just have a Lightning cable on me because the Sony's, I have to have a USB-C cable with me.
hmm
So, yeah, I mean, it's good to be a few years late. You should try it.
Cool.
I'm usually late to appointments, not to tech, because
There you go.
I will just spend the money and buy the thing. Or wait. Yeah, no, I'm glad you got these. I'm glad you seem to like them. Overall, you give them thumbs up. Would you, if there was a new version to come out, in the next year or so, not tomorrow, but the next year or so, would you buy them?
I don't think so. I've looked up the rumors, the latest rumors. I don't think it's going to be a big enough change to justify buying a new pair, especially because I haven't spent any
Yeah, that's a good
any money
point.
on these ones. But even if I did, I don't think I'd upgrade because it doesn't seem like much is going to change apart maybe from the USB-C port and maybe a chip upgrade, maybe not. Apparently, a bunch of rumors are pointing to the chip not.
I would be shocked. Like, there's so many features that the AirPods Max don't have that the AirPods Pro do, like the adaptive audio. Like, they don't have the adaptive audio feature because they have the older chip. I would be absolutely shocked if the AirPods Max didn't get the new, at least on par with the AirPods Pro 2. Because again, this is another year at WWDC. I'm already blanking on what it is, but I remember there is a feature that, again, is just coming to AirPods Pro 2 and not to the regular AirPods line or the AirPods Max. And the AirPods Max are double the price of the AirPods Pro 2. It should be getting all the features that those get.
Yeah, but even if it did, I don't think it'd be worth it for me. I'm mostly hyped for the Sony line. I've been a fan of that line for years, all the way back to the XM3s. So yeah,
I am, in a way, bringing a successor to something we've talked about previously. So a few episodes ago, we talked about framework laptops. Niléane, you brought that. And we kind of discussed how they have this idea of modularity and you can kind of build the computer you want and you can upgrade components at a later date. And I think we were a little down on the idea of this, and like
I was.
yeah, I was as well. And like, they haven't proven out that they're going to support this for years and years. So yeah, a little bit of a risky purchase probably. And today I wanted to bring a relatively new thing in my life, which is a new graphics card for my gaming PC. And I wanted to talk about this in relation to the framework kind of modularity thing, because we talked about how like the modularity is kind of this like nice idea, but is it actually going to work out? And I'm just like staring at my PC under my desk right now, and this is exactly the modular dream that we were theorizing, or like framework wants to make happen, but like it already exists in desktop PCs. So I had a graphics card and it was getting pushed a little far by the highest end games out today. And there was a successor to that graphics card. It's the one I got is the NVIDIA RTX 4070 Super, for anyone curious. It came out a few months ago, and I didn't have to, it's like 15 to 20% faster than what it's replacing for me. So not a huge upgrade, not a huge like life-changing difference in performance for like the games I play, but a notable update. And I didn't have to buy a whole new computer. I didn't have to like do anything crazy. I literally just bought the thing. I opened up my case, I unplugged the old one, I plugged the new one in, and it worked. There was nothing else to do. And I think that's so awesome. And like while I was in there with the computer open, kind of poking around and unplugging things and everything, it just hit me like, oh yeah, all of this is modular, right? Like if I want more RAM, I can spend $100 and get more RAM. If I want a new CPU within some restraints on like what my motherboard supports, I can upgrade the CPU.
$100 for more RAM? Has anyone told Apple the price of RAM has gone down?
Shush.
I bought this computer with 16 gigs of RAM, and I upgraded to 32 gigs about a year ago, and
that must have cost you $1,000.
$90. And it's great. It's very fast RAM. It's fantastic. So yeah, like this whole modular like computing thing is great. And as someone who, okay, so let me back up one more time. 2 years ago, I bought the M1 Pro MacBook Pro, their first like 14-inch with the Apple Silicon generation. I loved it. It was super fast. It was super performant for me, but I goofed when I bought it. I bought it with too little hard drive space. It just turned out for the Final Cut projects I was working on, it was not enough space. It was a constant pain point, and I needed more internal hard drive space. And my only recourse was to buy a new MacBook Pro. I didn't need the extra speed. I didn't need more RAM. Basically, everything stayed the same, but I ended up buying an M2 MacBook Pro just with a bigger hard drive. I didn't need anything else, but I had to buy a whole new computer to do that. And that really stung at the time. Like, it really annoyed me that I had to do that. And it's just nice to have this other world where you can just spend a little bit of money and improve your experience without having to buy a whole new thing. So I just really appreciate that. And yeah, I wanted to talk about it today because I think it's kind of awesome.
Yeah, it is.
Do either of you guys play PC games or even Mac games or anything?
Well, I have the Legion Go, and I've still been playing with that and fiddling with that. I got it to work, I guess a little bit of follow-up since we talked about it last. I got it to work a little bit better. I'm kind of embracing this as not playing modern games, but maybe games that are from like the previous console generation. So I've been playing a lot of like Xbox One and PS4 era games and stuff like that. And it seems to work out great for that kind of thing. So yeah, I've been playing that. The nice thing about the Legion Go, and if you listen to our sister podcast, MPC, you will hear what Federico has been doing, and it's absolutely wild. He's like built his own custom eGPU and like has like, and the Legion Go compared to other handheld PCs kind of allows for that to happen because it has not one but two USB 4 ports, which supports USB 3.2 2x2, which is like 40 gigabits per second, which is almost basically on par with Thunderbolt. It's wild what you can do with that. But yeah, so that's mostly what I've been doing. You can open up the Legion Go. You can replace, like, you can add more storage and stuff to it. I have not done that, but yeah.
Nice. Niléane, do you do any gaming at all on a computer?
Not really. I've said this before. I play 2 games in my life. That's Minecraft and Euro Truck Simulator 2. And that's it. And for Euro Truck Simulator, I play it via NVIDIA GeForce Now currently.
Ooh,
although
okay.
it runs pretty good on my M2 MacBook Air. Yeah, decently, I would say. It runs decently.
Nice.
but I can max out the specs, the video settings on GeForce Now, so feels a lot better.
Yeah. So I'm definitely the biggest gamer among us.
Well, hang on. Greatest gamer. Are we gonna have to have a Mario Kart race here? Like what?
I can beat you to that.
I've got hundreds of hours in Mario Kart. I will
Well,
destroy you all.
You know what? I think we just came up with a bonus episode idea that the three of us are gonna throw down a Mario Kart.
How does that work?
And then maybe Smash Brothers after that. We'll figure that out. We'll figure out a way to make that work. But
should we describe what's happening in audio form?
Well, there's capture cards and stuff. We'll figure it out. I think that's something we could work on. But I don't know about Matt taking the title of biggest gamer. I mean, I played quite a bit of video games myself. You know, I'd make the Super Mario jump if you know what I mean.
Oh God.
If we do this and we have to describe what's happening on screen, I will lie.
I know. I was thinking the same thing.
I'm ahead right now.
Don't believe their lies. They're not winning.
I dodged the blue shell. Yeah.
We would need to get like a third party in order to like be neutral. We'd need to get like Sean Voorhees or somebody and just be like, okay, we need a neutral third party. But no, I think we could get like capture cards or something. We could figure this out.
We could figure it out. Okay, the last thing I wanted to mention that I also think is really, really cool, and again, very different from the Apple world, is when I bought this new graphics card, it cost like I got it on sale, so it was like $500. But I wasn't out $500 because I'm replacing a graphics card. That graphics card is totally good, very good, and useful to other people, so I was able to sell it. And so it cost me less than $100 to upgrade my performance significantly, like to the level of like an M2 to M3, like in graphics performance. It cost very, very little money in the grand scheme of things. And I like that about the PC world as well, in that you can upgrade components and those components you are replacing are going to be useful to someone else. And you can sell them, they can get them at a discount. And I just think it's a really cool ecosystem that's out there. And yeah, wanted to celebrate it a little today.
Yay.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's been a while since I've built a PC or anything custom like that, but I have definitely been considering I most of the games I play right now are on my Xbox Series X. That's where I play most of my games. And like it's great. It's a fast console, but there's definitely limitations to it. There's also, Sony brings their games a couple of years later, but they will bring their exclusive games to PC, but they don't bring them to Xbox. So I have definitely been considering building my own gaming PC and like hooking it up to my TV and stuff like that. But I'm just not quite there yet. I'm kind of waiting to see what ends up happening with like the rumored Xbox Series X Pro.
Yeah, that'll. And they're rumored portable. You might get everything you want.
Honestly, if they come out with a portable, that would be killer. Because I want an Xbox portable because most of the games I own, I do have a PS5, but I don't really play it that much. I got it for like to play a couple of games with some friends and stuff like that. But most of the games I own are on Xbox, and I would love to just have my library sync between my place I play video games at home and my place that I play video games, whether I'm traveling or sitting on the couch because somebody is watching something on TV or something like that, whatever. I would love that. That would be absolutely killer.
Yeah, for sure. So we've been pretty tame so far in our topics. AirPods, graphics cards, better graphics are better. Chris, what did you bring this week?
So we're in the middle of summer. There's not a lot of tech news that happens in the middle of summer. It's probably a weird time for us to launch this kind of a podcast, to be honest, but
we're pros. We knew what we were doing.
Wait, are we about to talk about Joe Biden?
Yeah, strap in, everybody. This is a politics podcast.
We're going to get political. Guys, did you know the moon landing was fake? I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding, people.
Sorry.
Please don't at me. I can't, no. Anyways, I kind of, when we were talking about the show, I always thought like, yes, primarily focused on tech, but it might be fun if there's like been a movie or show or game that we're all playing to talk about it as well. And there is one show in particular that I believe all of us have watched, and we all have some strong feelings on it. And I kind of wanted an opportunity to yell at Matt even more, but I'm bringing the episode "The Acolyte" to the podcast. This is a Star Wars show that just recently wrapped up on Disney Plus. And oh boy, do I have lots of thoughts about it. I'm going to give a quick premise before we get into anything spoilery. But the whole idea is about... Actually, you know what? It's all spoilery. If you haven't watched it yet, Matt does a great job at creating chapters for this podcast. If you haven't watched this yet and you do not want to be spoiled, hit the next chapter. I'm going to give you like 10 seconds here to like pull over, pause, whatever. I'm rambling right now to give you this time that you can just skip ahead. Okay, we all good? Literally your last chance to pause the podcast. Okay. All right, so the core idea of the show is that the Sith is trying to find an acolyte, an apprentice. And that there are these two twin sisters and stuff happens and they get separated. One goes off to be a Jedi, but then fails. The other one is presumed dead, but ends up training with this Sith. And she's having to kill these Jedi. The original, I remember when the show was pitched and announced, and it was pitched as like this mystery. And I don't really think there was much of a mystery there. Like, I kind of had it all figured out by episode 2, or even episode 1. I think at the I'm trying to. Oh no, it was the first 2 episodes aired at the same. So it was the end of episode 2. But I liked it for the most part. For the most part, I found it very interesting. It was the first time we've stepped out of the Skywalker era of Star Wars in a movie or television in a live action form, or even animation too. This takes place in the High Republic era of Star Wars, and for those that are unfamiliar, the High Republic era is about 100 to 200 years before Episode 1. It's basically the peak time of the Republic when they're at their strongest, the peak time of the Jedi when they're at their strongest, and I enjoyed this era. I really did. We saw some really interesting stuff. I mean, a Wookiee Jedi. Who doesn't want to see a Wookiee Jedi? But there was also some weird stuff about this show. Like, there was 2 flashback episodes, and when you only have 8 episodes, doing 2 flashback episodes, and the second of the flashback episodes, which was the second to the last episode, it's the only episode I walked away from going, I didn't like this, because half the episode was rehashing what was in the first flashback episode, and when your episodes are, like, they're only like 30 to 40 minutes, I walked away from it being like, this could have just been edited into a movie and it would have been great. But, it was pitched as a mystery. It really wasn't that much of a mystery. It was more of a dark side drama where, we're kind of seeing the groundwork for some cool stuff. But before we go into some stuff that I was really like, I just got really stoked on. What did you two think of the show?
So for me, the show was a very solid 7 out of 10 sort of show.
You know what? I would agree. I thought I was going to yell at you. I would agree.
Yeah. Again, without getting too into the weeds or specifics, I would say
we gave the spoiler warning.
We did. But I just don't want to go on too long. My overall thoughts are, I liked a lot of it. I liked a lot of the ideas and things that they introduced. But some of the execution was a little awkward. I think especially like you mentioned in those flashback episodes, I don't think they were terrible or anything. Like, some people just like lost their minds over, especially the first one. But the delivery was a little weird. Some of the like actions the characters took didn't feel as motivated as I would have liked them to be. But I love this idea of like, the big thing that really connected with me is this idea that there are other groups out there who experience the Force and who like agree that it's a thing and it's real, but they have a completely different take on it. And like, this Coven of Witches is like so compelling to me and so exciting to me. And I'd love to see more from this. Like, if there's a book coming out soon that kind of goes into this, I will buy this book. I haven't bought a Star Wars book in like 20 years, but I will buy another one to spend more time with this group.
So the High Republic, I've been reading the High Republic series of books, and they are very good. If you're interested in more from this era, but the Coven of Witches isn't a new idea. It's kind
Oh,
of based on the Night Sisters. So if you're interested in that, the Clone Wars series really explores that.
oh, it's always the Clone Wars. Okay.
Come on, Matt.
And a little bit of Rebels as well also go into that as well, and the Ahsoka show. But all of those three things, they're Clone Wars, Rebels, and Ahsoka. That's kind of like its own trilogy.
Matt, have you not seen Clone Wars?
No, I every single time
Shame.
I say something about Star
Why?
Wars, everyone's like, "Oh, you haven't watched the 200 episodes of the Clone Wars?"
Well, of
Well, of
course.
course you don't know this.
It's like not having seen Revenge of the Sith or something.
No, that's a 2-hour commitment.
But to be fair, the Clone Wars they were traditional TV episodes, so they're only about 20 minutes apiece. There are episode guides. So the Clone Wars show doesn't take place linearly. Like there are some episodes that skip around in the timeline. Towards the end, it starts taking place a little more like straightforward through the timeline, but it does kind of skip around. But there are a lot of really good episode guides out there, so you could just watch like the good stuff, because there are some really bad arcs in there of like 4 episodes of like, hey, we're gonna follow these droids and this short little soldier guy that thinks he's really in charge, but the only reason why he got sent on the mission is because he's like super small and can blend in. But yeah, apparently that one was written by George Lucas, is what I've heard, and that makes a lot of sense. Anyways, moving on.
Oh boy.
Hey, I like George Lucas. I like him, but some of his ideas, Han shot first. That's what I'm gonna say. Um,
His word is gospel to me. I don't care.
oh, Niléane, what did you think of the show?
All right, I didn't say anything. I liked it. I think I agree with you with your notation, 7 out of 10. I think that's good. The flashback episodes, I disagree. I think they're really good. I like in general when a series does this, when you've got a flashback and it's a pivotal flashback where it's a subjective point of view that you're getting to see through different point of view, of course. And I like that it did that here. We don't have that much in Star Wars. The only time that we did have that was with Kylo Ren's origin story when he confronted or was it Luke? In the Jedi Temple when he was young, and so there was Luke's point of view, and then there was Kylo Ren's point of view. And I think it's good that we have that here, because I think it gives a lot of potential for developing the plot. So I disagree. I think they're really good. They're well executed. I think I wouldn't take them away because a lot relies on those. And I also disagree with the idea that there wasn't much of mystery in the show. I was asking myself questions all the time, and I think that's the good basis for mystery. Yeah.
Okay.
The cast was really good. I'm really impressed with pretty much everyone on the show, and I liked that it didn't run too long. It didn't run too long. I think we got from point A to point final of the season, and really fast, and that's good. I think it could have run too long. And final point, the High Republic stuff. I've read 2 books from that era, and yeah, I'm a big fan. I like that era. And I was really happy to finally something live action in that era. And I really want the Acolyte to get renewed only for this reason, because I want to see more of it. I want to see more things happening that lead to the end of the High Republic era.
Yeah, I agree with what you said about like the flashbacks. Like the ultimately like it provided the different context, and that's good. But what I just my point, like, I didn't like about them is like the second flashback episode rehashed a lot of what we already saw, and like it could have just been edited a little bit neater, and they could have put some other stuff in there to make like the thing that there's like certain characters I just didn't feel connected. Like I wasn't rooting for certain characters. Like I didn't feel that like gravity towards characters because it didn't seem like there was a ton of like there was character development for like the core, like the two sisters, the Jedi, the main Jedi, I forgot his name.
Soul.
Yeah. But like there were other characters that like Master Vanestra and the Matrix lady. I'm forgetting her name. Like there could have been a little bit of more character development to like kind of like let's see their motivations and stuff like that. Like, but there's a lot of really cool stuff. Like the middle episode with the light that's like basically a whole lightsaber fight. That episode was brutal and I loved it. I love a good brutal lightsaber fight. We haven't had one of those since like the prequel era.
Yeah. And it set the stakes for the rest of the show. I like it when a show goes ahead and kills main characters, especially when you aren't expecting it. Like it wasn't a season finale, it wasn't anything like that. It was just like episode 4 or 5 or whatever, and we lost 2, 3 like named characters who we'd been with and kind of felt like the core main cast. So it raises the stakes for me.
When they killed X-23, the apprentice, you know that was the same person from the same girl from Logan, right? That played X-23.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when they kill, I was like, dang, they are not pulling any punches. And then I don't know how to pronounce this, but this is from the EU stuff. But the Crotasis metal, but the material the helmet of the stranger was made from is from the EU, and the whole idea of it is like if a lightsaber touches it, it's like disabled for a little bit, and that was that. I was like, yeah, that's awesome. And then like we saw a bleeding of a kyber crystal. Like how cool is that?
That was good.
That was good. We saw the bleeding, the just the pulling it to the dark side. Like I love that. I absolutely. I think the only other time like. I think the first time that was described was in the Darth Vader comic books when the Emperor sent Vader right after Revenge of the Sith to hunt down a Jedi and get his kyber crystal and get his lightsaber so he can build his own. And then we saw a little bit in the recent Jedi game. Is it Jedi Survivor? No, Jedi Survivor was the first one. I don't remember. Anyways, the recent Jedi one. Like
Jedi Survivor is the new one.
Yeah,
like Jedi Fallen Order was the last one.
That was it. That you're right. Yeah, but like
the biggest gamer on the pod.
Yeah,
I'm just not good with names. But I love the idea of a Sith isn't given a lightsaber; it's taken, and like I love that. There's something like that. But there's something I wanted to ask you guys. Have you ever heard of the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
Oh.
No.
Oh, yes.
I thought not. It's not a story the Jedi would tell you.
I mean, Matt hasn't seen Clone Wars, so maybe he hasn't seen Revenge of the Sith.
I have no idea.
Really? Okay, so that person that was peeking out of the cave?
Yeah, I had no idea who that was.
That's Darth Plagueis the Wise.
Are you for real, Matt?
Yeah.
Are you serious? Really?
Are you?
That's Darth Plagueis the Wise.
Serious.
Oh my god!
I was literally Niléane when he showed up. I was yelling. I was like, "Holy bleeping bleep! That's Darth Plagueis the Wise." Who?
Yeah, I screamed. That's Darth Plagueis with my partner who was watching with me, and they were like, "Who? Who's that?"
This is what I'm talking about.
So I'm going to go spoiler within a spoiler. So if you don't want to know probably what's going to happen in season 2 of The Acolyte, Niléane knows, and you know what, Matt, you're here, so you're just going to get spoiled. Just go ahead and skip forward to the next chapter. This is your chance to pause and skip. Okay, you didn't pause and skip, so you clearly know. Darth Plagueis the Wise is the one that comes up with the idea of basically creating Anakin Skywalker, and putting Palpatine in power and stuff like that. Palpatine ends up killing him in Revenge of the Sith. When Palpatine is telling the story of Darth Plagueis the Wise, he's telling the story of what he did. He killed Plagueis in his sleep. But Plagueis is the one that came up with the idea of creating Anakin Skywalker. And if we go back to the episode 1, we know Anakin didn't have a father. Shmi Skywalker had no idea where he came from. She couldn't explain what happened, blah, blah, blah. That is because... and I love in the Acolyte how they do backflips to avoid saying midichlorians. They just say M count.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
They do it in Mandalorian too, but they're doing backflips to avoid saying that word.
In Bad Batch as well.
Yeah. So they basically Plagueis influences the midichlorians in order to create Anakin Skywalker, and just gives him, gives his midichlorian, like an off the count midichlorian count. So he's super powerful, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, so he's the one that kind of puts into motion that whole plan. And then he doesn't get to see it fulfilled. But that's who that is. And that's what is interesting, is because, as we know, there's a rule of 2 when it comes to Sith. There can only be 2. The Stranger was trying to take on an apprentice. So we'll see what happens there next season. Hopefully it gets to next season.
I think he's just spying on them, and
you don't think the Stranger is actually his apprentice?
Yeah, I think Kaimia is not even aware that he's there.
Okay,
that's my theory. Yeah,
interesting. Okay, interesting. See, I think he's actually his apprentice, and that he Plagueis sent him to find this virgins in the Force, because, as we found out, they were created through the Force. There was no father. They were created through the Force, just like Anakin Skywalker. So I'm guessing that Plagueis is trying to figure out how that was done so he can do that himself. Because, as we know, the whole thing for Plagueis is he figured out the secret to immortality and defeating death. But, yeah, thank you guys for letting me rant about Star Wars. I appreciate that.
See you next time on the Comfort Zone Star Wars spin-off.
Yeah. Oh, honestly, yes, I would totally be down for that. But yeah, we should probably wrap up this and get to the challenge, unless either of you have anything more you want to say about the Acolyte.
Yeah, just one thing. I think my favorite, how do I say this? The favorite thing that I've seen Acolyte haters say online is, "Oh my God, the lightsabers are thick. Why are they so thick?" I think that's so funny.
Do you know the actual reason why they did that?
I think because they're practical things that can light up, and it makes for better light effects. Of course.
Yeah, lightsabers actually put off light now.
Yeah.
Wow, who would have thought of that? No, that doesn't really bother me. It is a little weird to look at, like, when you first see it, but it's not like something that I'm getting hung up on. Like, oh yeah, they're a little bit thicker. That looks a little weird, but yeah, they have the actors have battery packs. They're wearing battery packs. No, I'm sorry. These actually have the batteries in them.
I think they're inside.
Yeah, it was the sequel trilogy that the actors were wearing battery packs, but these actually have the batteries on the inside.
Out of all the things that people could hate on, I think that's the funniest.
Yeah. No, that's the most ridiculous. Completely agreed.
I never even thought of this. I'm just a filthy casual fan, though, so what do I know? I've only watched like 12 movies and 3 TV shows, but
you didn't even know of the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise.
I think you're making it up. I don't think that's real.
Oh my God.
Everyone at Matt Birchler on this one. Just email him on this one. Anyways, do you guys feel that? Feel that disturbance in the Force?
Challenge.
Yeah, it's the heat. It's the heat.
Yeah, it is the heat. We need to keep going. Anyways, this week, it was my challenge. And I challenged you all to do something with Vision Pro. Niléane, I wanted you to just go out and try it because France, you guys finally got it. And Matt and I were meant to do something new with it. So let's start with Niléane, because I'm really excited to hear your thoughts on like using Vision Pro for the first time.
Yeah, so that was a trip because so I was in Paris last weekend. Or was it before that? I don't remember. I was in Paris for a work thing. So I jumped to an Apple store in Paris, the one in Saint-Germain, the Marché Saint-Germain. It's a really cute one. It's cozy compared to others in Paris that are huge and packed with people all the time. And last time I told you guys that apparently the demos, you could just walk in a store and they could give you a demo because nowhere was booked, basically. But actually, when I was there, the store was packed. There was a lot of people trying on the Vision Pro, which was such a weird scene, by the way. Just you walk in an Apple store and there are a bunch of couches and so many people on the couches just wearing the headset and flicking at stuff in the air. It's really weird. But because the store was packed, I actually had a premium experience because they had to bring me to a room in the back, a conference room in the back. So I was alone with the Apple Store employee. First off, the very first impression is that this thing is heavy. I don't want to wear this again. I do not want to wear this again.
Did you have the solo knit band or the dual loop band?
That was the dual loop band.
Ooh,
yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, it felt awful right away. And so we spent like 5 minutes trying to adjust the band. And yeah, there was nothing we could do so I could feel better. So I think, yeah, so that's one thing. Second thing, I think it was really impressive to finally see in real life what everyone has been talking about, the UI. The fact that everything is very stationary. Like that was impressive to me. The fact that when you press the home screen button and you see the apps float in front of you, the app icons float in front of you and cast a shadow on the table, that was pretty impressive. One thing that felt a bit disappointing to me is that the eye tracking wasn't super precise. I had read people say that it's not as precise as you might think, but I didn't think it was this bad. Like I felt like I was having to focus really hard with both my eyes, which is not something I've ever done before. So that's really weird. Like having to think about both your eyes to look at something. That's a new feeling that I've never had before. So the guy was telling me, yeah, can you just click on panoramic pictures in the sidebar? So I was looking at it and did not highlight. And it was, and he told me, look at it harder. So I was like,
yes.
What does that mean? Look at it harder. So I really tried to like focus on both my eyes. That was so weird. But apart from that, so I must say the demo, it went on longer than I thought it would, probably about 40 minutes or so. And I had a wider range of freedom than I thought I would have. He showed me a bunch of stuff, but he did let me poke around the OS a little bit on my own. The spatial photos, I remember feeling like I was not feeling at ease looking at them. Especially if one of the demo pictures I'm sure you may have seen is a picture of a kid's birthday party, and there's a big cake in front of you on the table and a bunch of kids around it. And it feels like the point of view that you have from the picture, it feels like you're right up to the cake with your face, like you're about to munch on it.
Yeah, I don't see an issue here.
And when the picture popped up, I was like, hey, I need to back up. This is not correct politeness to do this, to be so close to a kid's cake. Yeah, he showed me a bunch of immersive videos as well. The one that stuck out to me was the one where there's a tightrope. You're on
That's
the
the one.
tight. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that one. I do not like that one at all. I have a huge fear of heights, and it makes my stomach very unsettled. I'm going to be on
Yeah.
Magic Rays of Light tomorrow. I'm recording it tomorrow, and Sigmund asked me
Ooh.
to watch the new air balloon one, and
Ooh.
that made my stomach very unsettled for about an hour. So if you have a fear of heights, it can trigger that.
Yeah. Apparently, I'm not triggered at all by this because so the guy made all sorts of warnings before he launched the thing for me and well instructed me to launch the thing. And sure, I went ahead, but I didn't feel anything. I don't have fear of heights. So I've never had that, but it did feel very impressive to just look below me and see the void, basically. Yeah. What else? Safari. I never want to browse the web like this again.
Was it snappy?
Or it wasn't super snappy actually, because like again, I have to focus with both my eyes to click on anything, and but yeah, actually, I don't think I want to use the web like this again. It's like it feels like so much work to
Yes.
browse the web, to move my eyes around,
Mhm.
and not have things highlight as you look at them. That was one of the first things that I noticed too, is the way that the UI in general, Vision OS, the UI in Vision OS highlights everywhere you look. It feels like things are blinking in front of me all the time, and I was feeling this especially when he let me poke around the OS on my own, because then of course you're scanning through the UI. You're not instructed to click on something specifically. So when you're browsing on your own, you're just looking at stuff, looking at the menus, looking at the UI, and yeah, the fact that why did they? I'm ranting now. Why did Apple make the sidebar in Vision OS apps roll out? You know what I mean? Why?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean. It is weird.
Yeah.
It is a weird choice.
You just glance at the sidebar and all of a sudden becomes huge and everything's blinking in there because you're looking at the menu.
The thing I don't get, it's not like you don't have space. Like, it's not like you're on
Yeah.
an iPad where you have like limited amount of space and okay, yeah, let's hide the sidebar and you can tap the button to reveal it. You have plenty of space with Vision Pro because literally you have all the space. Yeah, it is a real weird choice.
Yeah. And I guess that's it. My impressions on the demo.
I do have a question. Did you get to use it with a keyboard and trackpad?
No, I didn't. I did try the virtual keyboard. He wanted me to try it, actually. I didn't think he would want me to try this because I've not heard good things about that virtual keyboard. But he was like, "Hey, go to the address bar and just try to type a URL." And yeah, that was terrible because that was a weird feeling as well, because visually it's impressive because the keyboard feels like it's right in front of you. It feels like there's really a keyboard there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he's instructed me just poke at the buttons, poke at the
Yeah.
keys. So I go ahead and my finger goes right through it. And I ask him, what am I supposed to do? And he's like, just find the right spot and you will be able to press the keys. And yeah, but that's probably just a first time thing because you probably get used to it. But
You kind of do, but it's much better to do the eye tracking and pinch gesture to type on the virtual
Yeah.
keyboard than it is to like use your two, because you can only use your two pointer fingers. Like when I did
Yeah.
the demo down at Apple's offices, like I was trying to do like traditional typing and I put my whole hands up and I was trying to type, but you can only do your pointer fingers and it doesn't track with my brain. I will say using Vision Pro with a hardware keyboard and trackpad, drastically different experience. That being said, at that point, why don't you just go grab a Mac or an iPad and you can do more with it? But yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing you said, you do get used to some of these things the more you use it. The one thing that I think is still an issue for me that you mentioned is how much work it feels like almost to do things, because you have to like look around and you have to move your hand and you have to like really focus on what you're going to interact with. That's still a thing for me, where I feel like all the time I'm in the Vision Pro, I'm having to think harder about what I'm doing and be more intentional. And like, as well for me, I didn't realize how often I'm not looking directly at the thing I'm trying to interact with on my computer.
Yeah.
And like having to do that on the Vision Pro is still an annoying thing for me sometimes. So that may not go away.
Yeah. The one thing that I did feel like I would like to use this, I would like to have this at home, is watching movies and stuff, like having a
Yep.
giant screen in front of you. That's the one thing that I was feeling like, I want this. Yeah. But apart from that, yeah. And the funny thing I want to tell you, the funny thing is, when the demo was over, the guy looked at me and so he asked me, "Hey, what did you think?" So I have shared my impressions, very impressive, etc. And then he said, "We have them in stock if you want. You can go home with it right now if you want. And this one, the demo unit, is configured for you. So yeah, we have your settings and everything." So my thinking was like, I'm sure you have it in stock. I'm sure you have it in stock. And that was really nice of him. But nope.
Yeah. Well, Matt and I are suckers and did buy them. Matt, what did you use yours for?
So I think I've said previously, I basically just use my Vision Pro on the weekends to watch movies when I'm watching movies alone. And I was like, let's try to use it for real work. And one of the things that...
You can't get real work done on a Vision Pro. I'm just kidding. I had to be that person. I just had to be that person.
I just might scream.
I'm on the other end of it all the time.
I know.
I just wanted to say it one time.
So I was like, I'm gonna build up the courage to do what I haven't had the courage to do yet. I'm gonna do a work video call with my spatial persona.
Yes.
You did?
Yes.
Well, let me explain.
Oh my.
So I was like, I'm just going to deal with it. It's going to be fine. Maybe no one will notice.
Sure. I'm
And the good news is nobody noticed.
No, nobody said anything. They were all texting each other.
The bad news is that the reason they didn't know is that Safari on Vision OS does not give websites access to the camera properly. Or maybe it's possible this is a Vision OS 2 bug. So it's possible Vision OS 1 works. But I was using Google Meet, which is what my company uses for video calls. And Google Meet saw the camera. Safari asked me for camera and microphone access, and I gave it. And my microphone worked great. That was perfect. It showed a camera as my like input, but it had like this notification that says, it looks like you have a privacy shade down on your camera. And so we can't, there's no video to show. And I tried in a couple different web apps and every single one gave me the same message. So I think it's just the way Safari's doing it. So I took the call in the Vision Pro. The microphones are great in the Vision Pro. So I sounded really good, but they just saw me as camera off because apparently personas don't work in web apps. So if I had a Zoom call, I could have done it because Zoom has an app. But yeah, in Google Meet and Microsoft Teams, which are huge in the corporate world, not an option yet.
Can't you install the iPad app for Google Meet?
I could have done that. Yeah. I didn't think about it.
So, okay. Homework then.
Yeah, try it and report back. But I don't know if the iPad app would do spatial personas because there are no spatial personas on the iPad. I'm not entirely sure how that would work.
My thinking is it should report just as a webcam.
Yeah.
But maybe not.
Does it?
But I mean, I guess what we saw with the web is that it does show as a webcam, but it doesn't quite know what to do with it. So maybe there is some stuff
I'm
there.
sure it's also a different format too. Like it's probably not just some like regular video stream. It's probably something a little different because it has depth and all that stuff. It's not just so I don't know.
But
I
how
don't
does
know
that
if
work for? Yeah, I mean, it should just output like a video. You would think, because like other people aren't going to have Vision Pros on the other end, even if you're doing like a FaceTime call.
But like that's true. I don't know.
I mean,
We'll I'll try to. If you don't want to do it for a work thing, I'll try it with you. But yeah, that's I'd be curious if the Google Meet app even. First of all, I'd be curious if the Google Meet app is even on the App Store for it. But let alone if it works. So
yeah, I feel like Google would have been one of the companies who goes through and is like, just flip all of our apps to no until we know that they work.
Yeah, exactly. Or just to be spiteful.
Yeah. So everything else about the call was great. Audio was great. It worked. Like Google Meet showed me other people's video. Just this one complication. So I kind of failed, and it was too late before recording for me to do anything else. I had all my eggs in this basket, and it let me down.
All right. So far, I'm winning this week's challenge.
Yeah, but I think I'm gonna win. I think I'm gonna win. I think this week's mine. So I brought a bunch of different things. That's why I think I win. I brought some hardware stuff and some software stuff. So first off, I ordered some accessories like literally right before the new iPads came out. So I may have tried these for like 30 seconds, but since like a little bit before the new iPads came out, I haven't really used my Vision Pro except to watch movies and TV shows when like it's a show like The Acolyte. My girlfriend did not want to watch The Acolyte, so I watched it on Vision Pro by myself. But so I ordered a couple accessories, hadn't really used them until this week and when I really got back into Vision Pro. The first one is Air Cover. It's the open face system, so it takes the light shield out. And basically, instead of having the light shield, you have something that kind of just rests on your forehead, so it keeps the Vision Pro at a proper distance. But you have peripheral vision, which is really interesting because you feel like you're much more in your space and not like trying to be in a separate virtual space. And I kind of like this for the most part, except it sort of takes away the magic of environments. And I love environments. Environments were the thing I think I was the most excited about when it came to Vision Pro because I have ADHD. Niléane, I know you have ADHD. We've talked about it before. And I get very distracted very easily, especially like when there's stuff going on around me. And with environments, you can spin the reality dial and you can literally change your reality, change what's around you, and just be focused on, the work, the apps in front of you, and be sitting in Yosemite or Mount Hood or Bora Bora with Vision OS 2 or something. I actually really, really like them. But with this, you do kind of lose that because you're able to see your world in your peripheral vision, but you're, also looking at Mount Hood. So that's kind of weird. I don't think the Air Cover is going to stick around on my Vision Pro because of that very reason. But I do like it. If you're somebody that's not using environments, that doesn't need environments, I think I would go with the Air Cover over just using the regular light shield. The other hardware thing I have is the Solo Top accessory, and this is the accessory that somebody made to give you the ability to use 2 solo knit bands. So by default, when you buy a Vision Pro, you either get the solo knit band or the dual loop band. And I right away went for the dual loop band. When I did the demo at Apple's offices back in, I was like November, December, something like that, before it launched. They immediately, they tried the solo knit band with me because it's the comfy one. It's the nice one. They clearly want people to do that. But because I have this really stubby nose that doesn't stick out very far, like if you're watching video, you can see like it's really small. Vision Pro with the just one solo knit band just doesn't stay on my face. It kind of like sags a little bit. So I've been using the dual loop band, and I don't mind the dual loop band. I actually think it's really good because you don't have to fuss with it. You can just take Vision Pro off and put it back on. The straps, because it uses Velcro, the straps always stay in the right spot, the spot for your head. So you never have to adjust it every time you take it on or take it off. You just leave the straps where they are and just pull it off and pull it back on. But the solo top I wanted to try because everyone's been talking about it. So I ordered a second solo knit band, and if you do this, you need to get the size smaller than the regular solo knit band. So if you're using the solo knit band for the back of your head, whatever size you have, if you have medium, get small. If you have large, get medium, whatever. And I like this. I actually think it's really comfy. It's much more comfortable than the dual loop band, but it is more fussy because with the solo knit bands, you have the dial to tighten it. So you need to loosen it and tighten it every single time you get it on. And when you pair it with the air cover, getting it to be positioned just right on your face so that it's not, the Vision Pro isn't too low or too high, it takes a little bit of fiddling in order to get that. So that's why I think with the face shield and the solo top, I think is kind of the perfect combo for me. Before I move to software, do you guys have any questions on this?
So the solo top, is it noticeably more comfortable?
Yes, it is noticeably. Yes, absolutely noticeably, because the solo knit bands, they have more cushion, they have more padding. They're just nicer. The dual loop band does not look like something that was made by Apple. It's just like a straight Velcro strap. I'm honestly kind of surprised Apple put that out because it doesn't look like something that would come from Apple. The solo knit bands obviously look like something from Apple, but if you need that over-the-top headband, which is what you get with the solo top dual system, which is what I need because of my stubby nose, it is much more comfortable. It's just a little more fiddly to get on and off.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, I've been eyeing this because I don't find it super... I find them about equally comfortable, the dual loop and the solo knit or whatever. So I use the knit one just because it looks a little nicer and feels, like, again, the same to me. So this idea of having 2 of them is a little compelling, but also expensive.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
But if it made it noticeably more comfortable, that would help a little bit with my usage.
It is noticeably more comfortable. If you're one of the, I have heard from a few people, and I've heard a few people talk about this, that they primarily will do the solo knit band if they're just doing like quick interactions. But if they're going to watch a movie or spend more than an hour using Vision Pro, they'll put the dual loop band on. And if you're one of those people, I would just go full solo top and just use that 100% of the time.
Does it feel like warmer having 2 solo knit bands? Because they're noticeably bigger, right? They cover a bigger area on your head.
Yeah, I don't think it's warmer. I think it's I honestly it's more comfy to use, and especially because of my stubby nose. It fits on my face a little bit better. So I think I don't think it's warmer or anything like that. But I would definitely it's one of those things, like, I would give it a shot if you're a dual loop band person. I would give this system a shot because it is comfier. Yes, it's more fiddly. Yes, you have to buy a second solo knit band, which they're like $100. Which
I just looked it up, 100. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm rolling my eyes at the camera at that price right now. But if you're planning on using Vision Pro a lot, and keep in mind you just spent $3,500 on a computer, why not make it comfy? So yeah. I also have a software side to the challenge as well. When I got back to Vision Pro, so like I said, I haven't used it since like a little bit before the new iPads came out. And when I say it came out, I mean like before they were announced, because I flew to New York, got review units and all that stuff. So it's even longer since their shipping date. So it's been a while since I really used Vision Pro. I was expecting to go into the App Store and see a lot of apps, like at least iPad compatibility apps, show up there. But I still, like, my RSS Reader app, which is Reader, Reeder, is not there. Raindrop.io is there. Alternatives to those aren't really there. There are a couple, but like there's not great ones. There are some iPad compatibility ones, like Lear is there. I was just kind of disappointed that the lack of apps on Vision Pro is still the key thing that's holding it back. And the only way I can see Apple really getting around this is if Apple went to, and I would say indie developers, and been like, hey, here is a Vision Pro. Bring your app to it. Like, make a deal with them. Give them a Vision Pro in exchange for bringing their popular app to it. And maybe RSS readers and stuff aren't the case, but even Apple, like Final Cut, still isn't there. I so want Final Cut to be on Vision Pro because that's the big thing holding me back from actually using this for any real work. Lightroom is there. It's the iPad version of Lightroom. It's really hard to use with the pinch gesture. It's so hard to use. I only use it with the trackpad. And honestly, any iPad compatible apps is hard to use with the pinch gesture because it's meant for physically touching the thing and dragging it and not the eye tracking. And the eye tracking is where it gets off. Like Obsidian. Obsidian is extremely hard to use on Vision Pro.
Borderline impossible. Yeah.
Borderline impossible unless you're just using it with a trackpad and keyboard. And even still, it's really hard. The nice thing that I did notice is it looks like Obsidian solved a lot of the bugs that were plaguing it when Vision Pro first came out. Like the dark room, or if you use dark mode, it would always jump back to light mode. But then there's still issues like I can't get my custom fonts on Vision Pro, so I'm stuck using like the built-in fonts and not JetBrains Mono.
We're really having the same. It's really going through the iPad journey of it doesn't have all these things, and we have to wait for them to come, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly.
But the thing, it's about $3,000 more.
Well, and on top of that, it's built on top of the iPad. So that stuff is built there. They just have to tweak it and make it work for Vision Pro. But Vision Pro is built on top of the iPad, like 100%. But I installed Vision OS 2. I love the keyboard pass-through with the environment. I put the light shield back on. Best feature, that is something I really like when I talked to Apple about my experience using it. I was like, that is the thing that kills me the most is like, there's like, I want to live completely in the environment when I'm working, but I can't see my keyboard. And I can type without looking at my keyboard, but it's arranging my hands and making sure I'm in the right spot, or like hitting the arrow keys, or hitting like, like needing to know where like the asterisk key is or something like that. It's like stuff like that. It's like those little things that you just need to be able to look at your keyboard for. So that's nice. It's annoying, so freaking annoying that it's only for the Magic Keyboard and Magic Trackpad. That drives me nuts that they will not support third-party keyboards for the pass-through or even the QuickType bar. Like the QuickType bar will just pop up if you're using a hardware keyboard, but it only pins to your keyboard if you're using the Magic Keyboard. Drives me nuts. Couple other really quick things because we're going long, so I just want to jump up. A feature that I love in Vision OS 2 is if you turn off your Vision Pro or the battery dies, once you bring it back on and turn it back on and all that stuff, the apps that you had open now open back up into your same spot. So much nicer. Such a nice feature. And then the gesture to quickly open the home view and the control center view. So then now there's this gesture where you can kind of bring your pointer finger and your thumb together, and it'll like a little circle will pop up. You can click that and you can bring up the home view, or you can flip your hand over. It'll give like a little mini status bar. You can click that and it'll bring up control center. That's a really nice touch. But that's kind of... Yeah, that's kind of my experience with what I've been doing with Vision Pro this week. I think I win.
Well, you did the same thing that Niléane did last time, which was not follow the rules. The challenge is very clearly do something with Vision Pro.
I did do something. I did a lot of some things.
You did some things.
Oh, boo! That's semantics. You can always do extra credit.
Oh my goodness! All right. Well, every week I am losing, and I never see it coming.
I mean,
I love that the rules are nowhere to be seen.
Exactly. We're just making them up as we go along, declaring ourselves the winner. Like, We're like somebody else. Anyways, moving on. Niléane, it's your week to challenge us. What do you have for us?
Yeah, so I've had this idea for a few weeks. I'm happy that's finally my turn. This week, I want you to dig up an old piece of tech and try to revive it.
Oh, I love this. Love this. Okay.
I have an idea in mind. I can't
Me
wait
too.
to see yours.
Me too. I have a very me idea in mind. But I don't know if it still works. So we'll be trying it out.
The key word is try to revive it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's going to be a story for the show.
How old does it have to be?
I think it's okay if it's not that old. I don't know.
3 years old?
Wait, what? Are you going to dig up the AirPods Max?
Yes. No.
I would say five or older, right? Like
Yeah.
three seems a little too
older
recent.
than 3 years. Yeah.
Three
Okay.
seems a bit too recent. What
Okay.
Niléane, what would you say the age range needs to be then?
I think you were right. I think older than 5 years old
Okay.
works.
Okay. All right. That's doable.
All right. Well, that's
Yeah.
doable.
And we're all just
Well,
bringing one thing, right? No
Yeah.
funny business where Chris brings like 7 different old things of tech and is.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay,
I have zero idea what you're talking about. I'm in it to win it. Now
Yeah.
that this is a competition, I'm here to win.
I don't have the killer instinct for this podcast.
Second place is first loser. Just saying.
What's third place?
Second loser.
Oh no.
But yeah, so that's it for this week. I'm very excited for next week because I have some ideas. But we kind of started something last week when we had an interesting suggestion for doing dating questions at the end of the episode, and we got a great app recommendation. So I have a question for you two to wrap up the show. If you could have an AI assistant, what personality would you want it to have?
I think I'd want it to be angry all the time.
Matt?
I think I would want it to be. Oh, I don't know. Can I opt out?
No, you have to. Okay. My thought was, okay, first British butler. Like you want like a proper British butler, like, you know, stereotypical Alfred from Batman. But I do like
wow.
Niléane's suggestion of like just constantly being angry at you.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
why didn't you get this done today?
I want it to be angry at the news all the time. I want it to give me the
okay.
news
See,
and go
I was
out.
thinking like angry at myself. Like why didn't you do
Sure.
all of your tasks today? Like, why didn't you finish that video?
You
Sure,
want
that
more
works.
like, hey, assistant, tell me the news. And it's like, oh, you would not believe what is happening.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Perfect.
I love that.
Okay.
All right, Matt,
I-
you got to give us an answer or we can't hang up.
I want my assistant to be frustratingly vague with me at all times. I want it to always kind of tell me what's on my to-do list and to imply when my meeting is, but not actually tell me.
Oh, that'd be great.
You got
That's what I
something
want.
coming up on the calendar.
Yeah. What is it? Oh, I'm sorry. What did you say? I have no idea. That's what I want. I want to be frustrated by it.
Oh, I have a better answer. I want it to be Janet from The Good Place.
Oh, that's good too.
I've never finished The Good Place. I've gotten through season 1 twice, and I've never finished it. I need to watch it.
Ah,
You really should.
Yeah, I know.
too bad
it's-
you were so close to winning this week.
No. This is outside of the challenge. No, we can't. No, because then we're just gonna like start doing like, well, I hung out with Tim Cook this week. Anyways, thank you all so much for listening. If you're interested in where you can find our work and stuff like that, it's in the show notes of your podcast or the description on YouTube because there is also a video version of this podcast. Our thanks to Mac Stories for hosting us. We are a Mac Stories podcast after all. Niléane, say goodbye.
Bye.
Matt, say goodbye.
Ciao.
And I'll see you all next time. Have a good week.